vibration hit me. It was coughing in my head. I didn't want to run my mouth. These are a lot of thoughts that come together when we're talking about it.
1981.
Yeah, we here. We are here live. We about to get it started. We are here. I'll talk a little bit of sports today. What's up, Ebony 80s, baby? Yeah. No. Lebron was crying. If he said Kyrie hurt his feelings, that's crying. What the hell your feelings doing getting hurt? This is basketball. That's crying. Y'all hear me good? He said turn my mic up a little bit more. Okay, let me do that. How am I sounding right now? Am I good? Oh yeah, DeMar DeRozan house got broken into. Yeah, DeMar DeRozan house got broken into. He handled that criminal better than he handled any fourth quarter than when he was with the Raptors. That Raptors team was a perfect setup. DeMar DeRozan and Paul George, kind of the same type player. We're going to get into that. But welcome to Hotep Ish Talk Intelligent Shit Talk. We are here to talk a little bit of sports and things. People who've been around for a long time remember that was my first attempt at podcasting sports and things. It was me, Larry Goodwell, and Ryan Hollins. Some of those episodes are still up on iTunes, I think. Now I probably got like 10 episodes of sports and things up. They floating around somewhere. That shit was on Blog Talk. It was kind of popular. Yeah, I had to, get rid of it. I had to stop talking sports. I stopped talking sports. And one of the main reasons why I stopped talking sports is because of the emotionalism that's now involved with sports. Salute Legion of Knicks podcast. The emotionalism in sports is the primary reason I had to stop. I remember calling Larry one day, was like, you know what, man, I'm stopping sports and things. It's just that you can't have a clear conversation about sports in a competitive way without some new dude that's new to sports was watching rhythmic gymnastics 2 weeks ago. Now he loves First Take, so he wants to tune in to basketball. And he believes everything Skip Bayless says, and he actually thinks Mike Breen is breaking down the game properly on ABC. And you get these people coming in, they get hella emotional with sports. Cats really fall on the sword for a motherfucker they will never meet. What's up, Matthew Marr in the chat room? Check his channel out, the basketball historian Matthew Marr. I should have called you, Matthew, because this would be a great topic to do with you on. I might have to bring this back with Matthew. As a matter of fact, Matthew, if you're available right now, I can patch you in. I can actually patch you in right now if you're available. Matthew Moore, let me know. Inbox me on Facebook. Let me know if you're available. I can patch you in. But it's the whole thing about the emotionalism in sports. Remember back in the 80s and the 90s, and the conversation was Allen Iverson was my favorite player because he'd cross you up and hit you with the step back. Or it'd be like, no, I like Kobe's my favorite player because he'll hit you with the turnaround. You know what I mean? Or guess what? No, Vince Carter's my favorite player because he'll dunk on you. Like, it used to be people had their favorite player based on what they did on the court. Something's a move that you try to take to the park yourself and do. That used to be how basketball was taught. My player is better than your player because the last time they played each other, he busted his ass. Remember when he dropped boom, boom, boom on him, and remember that time he shook him and took him to the cup? Your favorite player didn't want to see my favorite player. That's how basketball talk used to be. Now it's my favorite player is better than yours because of his stat sheet. Look at the stat sheet. The man had a triple double and he had 16 rebounds. Well, why didn't your man, with 3 seconds left in the game, take the last shot and act like he didn't want the ball? It doesn't matter. He had 38 points and 16 assists. You niggas sound like robots these days talking sports. And the thing that tripped me out most about it, cats be talking all these sports shit, talking stats this and stats that. Nigga, you wasn't even good in school. That cat said you was ditching stats class. Matter of fact, you didn't even take stats because you thought it would be too hard. Don't know the difference between mean, median. Don't know the difference between average. You don't know. You don't even know. You don't even realize average isn't even the best way to quantify what happens in a sports game. If you go right to averages, do you know that you basically? Well, here's an average. Player A, top-rated player, gets 40 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Sorry, team. The team won by 20, but in the fourth quarter, the team was up by 15, and player A scored an additional 10 points to get 40 points. And then tomorrow, that same player plays against top-rated team in whatever conference and gets 20 points. And when it's time to win the game, that player fades away and doesn't do what needs to be done to win the game. And then I'm telling you, hey, why didn't player A, who has all of the skill in the world, who can't be stopped, he wasn't being stopped the whole game, why didn't he use that same skill to win the game? And your response is, well, he's averaging 30 points. What kind of shit is that? Huh? That's what I mean by sports has gotten too soft, man. Too soft. Too soft. And I'm going to say it. It's you LeBron James fans are the main ones making it that way. I didn't say LeBron James himself. I said his fans. Let's make that very clear. Yeah, LeBron is soft. But that's who he is. It's you niggas who accept it. Lakers fans knew Pau Gasol was soft. Well, we never accepted it. Go back to that first finals against the Celtics. There was a one-time out where Phil Jackson punched Pau Gasol in the stomach and called him a little bitch. And Gasol didn't do nothing. Lakers didn't acquiesce and be like, well, he's from Spain. Well, he comes from a different culture. Well, he opened a school. No, nigga said toughen up. Nigga said toughen up, and he did. He said, but hey, Lakers, what did he say in the next podcast? Lakers fans overrate Kobe. Overrate Kobe how? Nigga won 5 championships. With fucking Sasha Voyicich and Jordan Farmar coming off the bench. How's that overrating anything? Anyway, but I will say this. I will say this though. When the Lakers were winning championships during Kobe's prime, there was a huge contingent of Kobe fans that I did not like. Like, why the fuck? Look, you niggas don't even like the Lakers. If you wasn't around when Terry Teagle was socking niggas out in the 90s, I don't want to hear you be a Kobe fan now. That's what I was saying back in 2009 when they got back to winning championships. There was a contingent of Laker fans that were annoying as hell. They were annoying to me. Now, Legion of Knicks, you getting stupid. Kobe ain't top 10. Man, you've lost all credibility now. The nigga literally beat the Celtics. The Celtics had Kevin Garnett, draft class of 94 and 95. They had Ray Allen, draft class of 96. Paul Pierce, draft class of 97. 3 Hall of Famers. Kobe was draft class of 96. 3 Hall of Famers going straight to the Hall of Fame first ballot at the same point in their career as Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant had one other All-Star, and that was Pau Gasol. Don't say Lamar Odom. There's a reason why Lamar Odom never made an All-Star team, because he will be Lamar Odom fool you dumb niggas that look at averages. Yeah, because Lamar Odom will have a 40-point game against a bum-ass team, then scored 2 points the next 5 games. He was very inconsistent. That's why he didn't make an All-Star team. Kobe won a championship with that. This nigga Kobe had, you right, think tank. Kobe had Smush Parker and still went to the playoffs. The fuck you talking about, Legion of Knicks? Kobe literally went to the playoffs with Slava Medvedenko, and this nigga Kobe went to the finals and lost with Vladimir Radmanovich as his 6th man. The fuck you talking about? And that was after they beat the Spurs. The Spurs were 1 year removed from their championship when they swept LeBron James in the 2007 finals. In 2008, they came back with an even better team because they had their full team, and they added Antonio McDyess. And Kobe had just got Pau Gasol 3 months prior. Pau Gasol, who had only been to the playoffs 3 times and got swept all 3 times. Got swept all 3 times, never won a playoff game. Took that nigga and beat Tim Duncan in the middle of his prime. This is prime Tim Duncan. The Tim Duncan that could play 40 minutes a night, give you 40 and 18. That Tim Duncan. He played against prime Tony Parker. The Tony Parker that won Finals MVP just the year before. He played against prime Manu Ginobili and beat that team with Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum wasn't even there. Lamar Odom, who had never won a playoff series before that. Pau Gasol, who had never won a playoff series before that. Vladimir Radmanovich's 6th man. Sasa Vujacic, Jordan Farmar, Shannon Brown. The hell you talking about Kobe overrated? Man, if you don't sit your ass all the way down. But this isn't about Kobe. This isn't about Kobe. This is about, we'll talk about Kobe when we're talking about the toughest players in the league of all time. Right now we're talking about soft shit. I don't care how much respect you have for Kobe and Legion of Knicks. You ain't telling the truth. As a matter, tell the truth. You're going to put players who done won championships or far less. This nigga Kobe was 20 when he beat the damn Blazers. The 2000 Blazers were like the deepest team in the NBA like ever at that point. The 2000 Blazers? What are you talking about, Legion of Knicks? Come on. Kobe went 15-1 in the playoffs. In 2001. 15-1. And don't say it was all Shaq, because they both averaged 30 points a game. And Shaq himself said that Kobe's the one that got him to the finals. Shaq won the finals MVP, but who got him through the West? Bean. But let's get back to LeBron James and his soft ass. Here comes somebody else. LeBron James is the greatest. He's already passed Kobe and Jordan. This nigga LeBron James been playing with Hall of Fame worthy teams for 12 straight seasons and still hasn't passed Kobe and Jordan in championships. If LeBron James was what y'all said he is, that nigga would literally have 8 championships right now. Because if somebody's the greatest, no one's around talking about how great the opponent was. If the opponent was greater, then you wasn't shit. The 2000 Blazers were greater than the Lakers. Kobe overcame that. Nigga. The 2001 Spurs were greater than the Lakers. They were actually favored by Vegas. Kobe swept them motherfuckers. Want to hear this shit about somebody being the greatest and they done had all them damn Hall of Famers on their team. They only got 4 championships. The fuck out of here. And no, LeBron did not play with scrubs his first 7 years. That's another dumb lie you niggas like talking about. This nigga Mo Williams dropped 50 on multiple teams that he was on. Not just LeBron. With LeBron, Larry Hughes. Nigga Eric Snow was in the finals a few years before LeBron with Philadelphia. What are y'all talking about? That's another dumb thing y'all talk about. And then bench players on the Cavs like Jones and Ilgauskas went to Cleveland and won the championship right away. All them niggas needed was another star like Dwayne Wade. Fuck you. That's a dumbass. People are crazy. Y'all always mistell the story when it comes to LeBron James, and that's why I'm here. We about to set the damn record straight. Let me go ahead and start off with this article that I was reading that made me want to have this discussion today. Let me see. LeBron James was a little hurt by Kyrie Irving's clutch comments. This is in Sports Illustrated, y'all. He said, when I read the whole transcript, y'all can read the whole article yourself. I'm not going to read all this shit for y'all. Y'all can read. He said, damn. I was like, oh, you tripping. I've hit game-winning shots my whole life. Yes, LeBron, you did hit. Let's break that down. You did hit a few game-winning shots. Namely that one against the Pacers. When Paul George's stupid ass went to sleep and you got that layup. Then that other fadeaway three that you got. You did hit a couple. But when people say big shots, it's not just game-winning shots. Let's break it down real clear what a big shot is. A big shot is it's the third quarter. The other team is on a 6-0 run. You've already called a timeout, so you can't call another timeout. And you see if they hit another shot, they're going to go on a big run, and you might not be able to get back from that run. So you come in and you hit a shot to stop their momentum. That's a big shot. Big shots happen in all four quarters. Big shots are momentum changing shots. Big shots are the game we're in the middle of the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. Neither team has hit a shot in 5 minutes. Both teams playing great defense. Both defenses have locked down the other team's offense. Your team needs a bucket to break it and then start a big kind of run. Those kind of shots are also big shots. I remember I was live tweeting that Game 7 Cleveland versus Warriors finals matchup in 2016, pointing out how every big shot that was hit that game was hit by Kyrie Irving. There was a point when Cleveland was down 7 points with about 6 minutes left in the third quarter. The Warriors finally started to hit their shots. They hit like 2 shots in a row. They went from like down 1 to up 7. And it was Kyrie that personally went on like an 8-0 run. I don't remember exactly, but he hit like 3 or 4 shots in a row that changed the momentum and got the Cleveland back within the game. And Kyrie would do things like that all the time for the Cavs. It would never be appreciated by Cavs fans. Why? Because Cavs fans, not just Cavs fans, bronsexuals don't see the whole game. They only see what he does, and then they look at the stats at the end of the game. I'm convinced that most bronsexuals don't even watch the game being played. Most of them are on Twitter, on Facebook, with their face in the phone, looking at what people are saying, listening to the game, and then when somebody does something great, then they look up, oh, LeBron James with the block, and then they see that shit get replayed 5 times. They're not watching the rest of the game. These niggas is cooking herbal teas. You know, usually most bronsexuals, y'all niggas is sorting out your thongs while the game is going on. And y'all, I'm convinced you ain't watching. That's why you got to go to the stat sheet when the game is over with. You only need to go to the stat sheet when the game is over with if you don't know what you're watching in live action. Why am I saying that? Because I'm going to go back to what I said before. In the 80s and the 90s, back when I was younger, basketball talk was, did you see that time that nigga got dunked on and niggas going to the park trying to imitate that? When niggas got their ankles took in, we was talking about niggas getting their ankles took in. We was talking about niggas getting dunked on. We was talking about that pass. We was talking about actual things we saw happen in the game. Wasn't nobody looking at no goddamn stat sheet. What do you see? He had 7. Now, if somebody scored like 60 points, we'd be like, oh, that shit was dope. That nigga had 60 points. Like, something like that'll make niggas, jump out. Be like, oh, shit, he had, he dropped, T-Mac dropped 45 points just in the second half. We may say stats like that. But outside of that, niggas is like, man, did you see that nigga, Grant Hill hit him with the drop step fadeaway? Boom. And somebody said something to Bron don't dunk on people. Yes, Bron don't dunk on people. That's another thing. Remember back, yes, I will say no. LeBron does not go to the hole. LeBron will dunk on the obvious. Like, LeBron will dunk on little ass Jason Terry. LeBron will dunk on a point guard that's trying to take a charge. Hell yeah, LeBron will jump on him. Go back to the 2016 finals. LeBron James, when Andrew Bogut was in the game, only drove to the lane twice. The games 1 through 4, when Andrew Bogut was in the game. He wasn't even trying Andrew Bogut. When Andrew Bogut got hurt, that changed the whole momentum of the series. This nigga was going to the lane left and right. Here's the evidence. Pull up any of your favorite players. Michael Jordan, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant, Michael Finley. All these dudes, and put up their dunk reels and who they dunked on. All these dudes dunked on Grant Hill. They dunked on the toughest shot blockers of the day. These niggas was challenging Dikembe Mutombo, Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning. They was challenging, and they all got them at some point. Yao Ming. Pull up LeBron James dunks on center. He got that one dunk on Tim Duncan back in, what was that, 2007? He got that dunk on Tim Duncan. This nigga ain't never bodied Dwight Howard. I'm talking about face-to-face dunks. I ain't talking about a nigga late on rotation or happen to be going through the lane to get caught. No. I'm talking about the center is in position to block that motherfucker, and you challenge him head up. Just pull it up for yourself on YouTube. You got Charles, I don't care what you're talking about, Dominique Wilkins, Charles Barkley, Vince Carter. Nigga, all of them got reels where they're dunking on the coldest shot blocker of their day. Pull up. How many times has LeBron bodied Dwight Howard? How many times has he bodied JaVale McGee? How many times has he bodied Andrew Bogut? Bodied Anthony Davis? I mean niggas who really are a threat to block your shot. Not a point guard. Yeah, I said it. Hey, Nazir Strain is a bronzexual. Look at him. Nazir Strain got his thong all in the bunch. Nazir Strain said, no, you're talking about LeBron, I'm going to fall on the sword. Look, LeBron wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire, nigga. Chill. This nigga Kyrie Irving is telling the truth. Kyrie Irving hit the big shots. The reason why LeBron did not win a championship the first time around in Cleveland was because when his team needed a shot, he couldn't get one. Like, I don't even know why y'all Bron Sex was even mad at this. Bron is Karl Malone. But unfortunately for Karl Malone, he didn't get that clutch player that can hit all the big shots. John Stockton passed too much. It'd be cool with it. Dwayne Wade was Batman. Dwayne Wade hit the big shots. Kyrie Irving hit the big shots. Hell, this year, Lakers are so goddamn good in that bubble. You really didn't even need nobody to hit no big shots. They were so far ahead, better than everyone they faced. But KCP did hit the big shots. Anthony Davis did hit the long game winner. Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So where's Kyrie Irving lying? I don't know why you bronzexuals don't just chill and say, hey, look, my favorite player is a nigga that's going to get all the stats. He going to get us through 3.5 quarters. He going to put us in position to win. And yeah, somebody else gonna come through and get that win for us, no doubt. But hell, at least we still got 4 championships. Why don't y'all just say that shit instead of lying and denying the obvious? That's another thing. Andre Richardson said, scoring 28 straight versus Detroit in the Eastern Conference. Andre, that was 15 years ago. Do you know how fucking stupid you sound? Anybody who brings up that Detroit game, every time you bring it up, it's a day past. It's a whole season this nigga done played since then. When people talk about Dwayne Wade, they don't have to go way back to 2006 when he beat the Heat. I mean, when he beat the Mavericks. They could talk about Dwayne Wade being clutch in 2011, in 2012, in 2013, in 2014, in 2015. We can point to times Dwayne Wade took games over. When you talk about Kobe taking games over, you can literally point down to every game up until he broke his fucking Achilles. When you talk about games Kemba Walker's taking over, we can talk about last season. When you talk about playoff games, Damian Lillard's won. We can bring up multiple times Damian Lillard's done that, and he's not even on LeBron's level. So for you to bring up some shit that happened in 2006, 7, and Damian Lillard has done that at least 5 times in the playoffs, that waters down your argument and makes me sound even smarter. Man, y'all be giving some hella passes to these people. And no, this is not the chat room for you guys to get sympathy. Everywhere y'all go, you LeBron James sissies get pacified. Oh, well, but he is a good father. No. You're telling the truth right here. Kyrie Irving was injured. You're right. Think tank. Kyrie Irving was injured. Kyrie Irving did all that shit, won your boy a championship, hit the biggest shot in Cavs history. And what do you bronzexuals do? Shit on Kyrie Irving. Y'all sorry as hell. Y'all say, oh, but Dwayne Wade was injured. No, he wasn't. Lakers fans don't go around saying Kobe Bryant had bone spurs in his ankle and a broken finger in a 2008 loss to the Celtics, even though the medical report says that's true. It's like, nah, nigga lost. Injuries are a part of basketball. Dwayne Wade's head was still hit butting the rim up until 2014. And what do y'all do? Shit on him. Oh, and y'all really shit on Chris Bosh. This nigga Chris Bosh had to sacrifice his whole game and basically be relegated to a jump shooter in the corner. Chris Bosh hit so many clutch jumpers, especially in that Spurs series, in that Pacers series. The Pacers was gonna win that series in 2013 before Chris Bosh came back from that abdominal injury. They was dominating the shit out of the Heat without Chris Bosh. It wasn't until Chris Bosh came back that the Heat won 3 straight games and closed that series out. But y'all don't be like, man, that was a good team effort. Y'all be like, LeBron. You vain vogue motherfuckers. Y'all don't be giving no respect to the teammates. Y'all don't give respect to the fact in Cleveland for that championship in Cleveland. Look on the bench. That Cleveland Cavs team had 5 Olympians on it. Not just All-Stars. Olympians on it. And y'all be like, LeBron did it himself. Richard Jefferson coming off the bench was a damn Olympian. And don't say Richard Jefferson was old, because Richard Jefferson was just in the finals the year before that with the Spurs. Richard Jefferson was in the finals with the Nets back in 2002 and 3. Richard Jefferson is somebody who, everywhere he went, them teams went deep in the playoffs. But all of a sudden, he ain't shit when he with LeBron. The fuck out of here. You niggas is weird. Don't want to give respect to the people who earned it. J.R. Smith in Game 7 of the finals hit 7 3-pointers. 7 against the Warriors. Y'all don't be like, thank you, J.R. Smith, for hitting them 7 3-pointers. and those big clutch shots to keep the game close when LeBron James was biting his nails. Y'all don't say thank you, J.R. Smith, for those 7 3-pointers, for that good defense against Klay Thomas. Y'all don't say thank you. Y'all say, well, LeBron did it himself. Fucking sissies. I don't respect none of you niggas. Nope. This is not the place to come for sympathy for a grown-ass cajillionaire. So, yeah, I said all I had to say. Kyrie Irving was right in what he said, and if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. Fuck you niggas getting all crying and mad for. Let's move on. Wrong screen. Here we go. Let's move on. I'm going to be trolling you LeBron fans continuously because it's fun. Because I just like talking shit about people who, like, fall in love with a grown-ass man they never met. That shit just funny as hell to me. So I'm going to keep trolling the shit out of y'all. Which brings us to Paul George. This nigga right here. It's funny how I could roast Paul George all day, and niggas never call me a hater and never fall on the sword. You niggas only do that with one player, but I digress. Paul George. This nigga right here. I've been telling y'all for years and years and years, Paul George is fool's gold. Paul George is fool's gold. That nigga smiles right for the cameras, and he has a good ass PR agent, so he gets the media FaceTime. Paul George puts up the numbers. Paul George got one gear. Paul George's gear is 23, 8, and 6. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get 23 points. You're going to get about 8 assists if he's running point forward. You'll get about 4 to 6 rebounds. The difference between Paul George and a real star is, even though a real star may average 23, he can look at the opposing team, look at his team and say, hold on, I think my team gonna need 40 from me tonight. And then go get that 40. Paul George has never been that player that can say, okay, I'm going to get you that 40 tonight. But he's always been, like, media pushed and boasted as if he is that nigga. Somebody, one of my mods, put Raw Status TV in timeout. Don't block him. Just put him in timeout. This nigga still got his thong in the shuffle of LeBron James. We ain't even talking about LeBron James no more. This nigga still crying about what I said about LeBron James. Put him on timeout. Don't chill, nigga. We done with LeBron. Just like LeBron's done with your mama. Okay, back to what we talking. We talking about Paul George now. And this all gonna tie into life lessons and stories. I'm not gonna just talk about this shit in a vacuum. No, hell no, Paul George and Kawhi ain't the same player. Nope. They're different. Now, they do occupy the same space on the floor. They're both small forwards, yeah. But they're way different. Paul George is somebody who's going to consistently do something. And when it comes time to win the game, Paul George may or may not be there. Usually he won't. Go back to when he was with the Thunder. This nigga got 4 points in a closeout game 7 with Andre Ingles guarding him. Andre Ingles is a white dude from Australia. Paul George is a nigga from Palmdale. Since winning the entire fucking game 7 is a nigga from Southern California, the mecca of basketball, Southern California. Got locked up and dominated by Andre Ingles in the playoffs. And don't give me that whole thing about Paul George breaking his leg. He's been fine from that. Paul George, even with Indiana, when a team needs a bucket, he can't get it. Yeah, Joe Ingles. I said Andre Ingles. Joe Ingles. That's how little respect I have for the motherfucker. But he dominated Paul George. This nigga Paul George is always being touted as something bigger than he's not. So he was in the media the other day crying, saying basically what Paul George said was Doc Rivers only used me in Ray Allen situations off screens and blah, blah, blah. First of all, that's a lie. He did run you in some of that, but you also ran a lot of point forward. You got a lot of pick and roll, especially when Kawhi was on the bench and Lou Williams was in the game. You read a lot of pick and roll, and Paul George got the ball on the right elbow where he's most comfortable, 15 feet, cat a corner from the basket. Paul George got every opportunity he wanted until it came time to win. But niggas keep letting these sports gossip shows sell them on Paul George. And so Doc Rivers hit him back. Basically said, nigga, Tyronn Lue was sitting right next to me. Your system ain't going to be much different than what I ran. And he's right. Because you got the opportunities. You got ample opportunity, Paul George. You just didn't follow through with them. Will you niggas please stop listening to these sports gossip shows? Look, I used to be a big fan of cold pizza. Yeah, cold pizza, for the OGs in the room, know that's what First Take was called before it was called First Take. I was a fan of all them sports shows, man, but man, Disney done fucked over sports, man. Disney is selling you niggas dreams. And that's exactly why there's this disconnect between what's real in sports and what really goes on. It's why people got to talk stats and not talk about what really happened. Because they're selling you a fantasy and niggas is buying it. You're right, Mitty. That injury gave Paul George even more notoriety. Like, share, and subscribe to this. Please, like, share, and subscribe. You know, we talk the profound and the profane here at Hotep-ish, but sometimes I like talking sports. I don't have a show that I dedicate solely to sports anymore because niggas get too emotional about it, as you see in the chat room. But I do want to talk about it because they sell us dreams through sports. Same way they sell women dreams through reality TV shows, they sell men dreams through sports. And I'm talking about this as a dog whistle to the fellas in the house. No matter what they talking about, sports isn't serious enough for us to keep picking sides and choosing sides. Hey, look, y'all know I'm a big Kobe fan. I'm a huge Kobe fan. I'm a Laker fan. I'm a Magic fan. I'm a Shaq fan. But when it comes down to real life, fuck all of them niggas. They ain't never put no money in my pocket. Rest in peace, Kobe. Not to be disrespectful. But, and I've actually seen Kobe in the gym. Like, unlike a lot of you bronzexuals, I could actually tell you personal stories being around Kobe and watching them work out. And the effect he's done on people that I know personally. But none of that shit matters. Sports is some fun shit to talk about and then move on. Talk about the rest of your day. People always ask me when it comes to history. Well, before I go into this part, get your Hotep-ish t-shirt, Dr. John Henry Clark. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. Get ready for my new show coming out pretty soon, Incense and Ashtrays. Music talk. For serious people that love music, roll up and listen. And get your Hotep-ish hoodie. It's getting cold to the motherfucker, man, and that hoodie is comfortable. Make sure you get yours. Okay. I lost my train of thought. I was going in to talking about sports and why. Give me back on my train of thought, people. I appreciate that. The t-shirt is fire. Oh yeah, so we talking about why sports is being. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna get. That's what I was gonna get in and say. People always ask me, Dewan, how do you know history so well? How do you understand? How do you remember these things? Part of it is I'm blessed. The Lord blessed me with an ability to recall things that I hear. My reading comprehension, sometimes I gotta read shit twice, but if I hear it, I never forget. And I noticed I had this when it came to sports. If you talk to me in 2005, 2010, I can tell you everybody's stats, and I didn't even call out stats, but I knew them just from I used to read the paper every day. I can tell you, I remember years by who won the championship that year. If you call out a year in the chat room, and I'll tell you who won the championship off the top of my head. If somebody say 1985, I'd be like Lakers. 1986, Celtics, and I was only 4 and 5 years old in those years. Nigga, you tell me 1980 Lakers. You tell me, I'm like, for real, 1996 Bulls, 94 Rockets, 2003 Spurs. Damn, like I just remember shit like that. I could tell you, okay, in 2000, in 2007, the Bulls were champions, but what? Karl Malone was the MVP that year, I think. I could tell you in '88, Magic was Magic's first time winning MVP. I just remember shit. 89 Celtics, 2008 Celtics. I'm not talking. 89 was Pistons. 2008 was Celtics. 1991 was Bulls. In the chat room, 95 Major League Baseball. Wasn't that the year that the Braves finally won in 95? I think that was the Braves in 95. I don't even follow baseball that close. There was no social media. I still use my regular mind now with social media. Like, that's just how my brain worked when it came to sports. And like around 2008, 2009, I had an epiphany. I was like, man, if my brain does like this with sports, what would it do if I dedicated the same ability that I have to uplifting my people? And first of all, knowing myself, who my history is, because when I was in college, they didn't teach me shit about me. I didn't know where to look. I was like, what if I use the same skill I have towards sports and use it on making a trade for myself and building skills that I can build, that I can then move on and sell, and always never have to depend on a job? What if I use the same talent to memorize Black history and to memorize things that could be constructive? Because I was always working with kids, even back then. I was a tutor. I was like, okay, and mentor. So I was like, okay, what if I use these skills to give important information to my people who need it? So that's really all I did. I was like, it's a skill that I had dedicated towards sports that I repurposed towards shit that matters. You're right about that, Poppin'. Like Craig always says, it's about being part of something bigger than yourself. All right, put One Punchline back on timeout. This motherfucker, One Punchline has dreams of LeBron James running raw up in him with no caboose lube. One Punchline, this motherfucker has an altar to LeBron James, and this motherfucker One Punchline has a butt plug with LeBron James' mouth on the motherfucker. Like, put that nigga back in timeout. He's still hurt over shit we finished talking about 20 minutes ago. Back to what we were talking about. Emac said Bron fans like he need more help, and he has 3 MVPs on the team. Right. Man, that's why I like trolling LeBron fans. These niggas get unhinged. And ladies, I do it for you, ladies. If you see a man get unhinged when LeBron James is a subject, that man wants to fuck LeBron James more than he wants to fuck you, okay? So just take it and believe it. Or don't believe it. But if you wonder why he watching highlights at 11:45 p.m. instead of getting in the bed with you, if you wonder why he moved his lotion from the kitchen, from the bathroom to his nightstand next to the couch where he watched ESPN, Now you know why, ladies. Now you know why. So back to Paul George, when we was talking about Paul George. Paul George is somebody, again, who media hypes up, and we allow the media to hype these motherfuckers and give them attention far more than they deserve to be. Look, basketball players are people who bounce a ball and make buckets. They're not heroes, all right? I'm telling you right now, being a person who's coached players, I've been in the gym with niggas from high school to college to the NBA. And yes, it takes at least 6 to 8 hours a day dedicated to basketball to even think about sniffing making the NBA. Just to make it and get a minimum contract, sit on the end of the bench, play for 2 years, and never make a dime off the sport again. I've always said, if black people dedicate the time that it takes to become a professional ball player to literally any other interest they have, whether it be, you may just want to be someone who builds model cars. You'll be so dope at building model cars, people will pay you more than people pay NBA players to bounce a basketball if you're the kind of person that dedicated the amount of time towards building model cars that it takes to make the NBA. It literally takes all of your time, effort, and energy to sit on the end of the bench with the NBA. Like I told y'all before. Somebody status TV and timeout again, please. And if Raw status TV, if you can't come in like a normal civil human being, we'll just block you from the channel. I like people here that are mature, that can take a conversation, even shit that they may not like. It's people who sit in this chat room and I say things they may not like, but they sit through it because everything don't apply to everybody. All right? Grow the fuck up. What's up, Sports Talk with TJ? Salute. Share and subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lovelace. Peace, Chris Cook. We here talking about sports and like why it matters in society. What lessons we can take from society. Like I tell people all the time, look, yes, I was in the gym with Ryan Hollins. Y'all know Ryan Hollins is one of the worst basketball players that ever made the NBA. But I'm going to tell you why he played and stuck for 10 years. That nigga would be in the gym 4, 6, sometimes 7 hours a day. For real, for real. That nigga was in the gym 6 hours a day to get 0.2 minutes of playing time. That's the kind of blood, sweat, and tears and dedication it takes to make and suck in the NBA. So can you imagine the amount of dedication it takes to actually be good? Rogue 007, you said that joke twice and it didn't hit the first time. Why are you saying it again? Look, man, I'm fat. Fat jokes are very easy to land. Fat jokes are the easiest jokes on the earth to land. If you can't land a fat joke, stop cracking jokes. All right? You're right, Carlito's Way. The NBA has a think tank. They need stars to push their product. So they sell you niggas like Paul George because he got a good hairline and he smiles good for the camera. And they got niggas like you thinking he's actually a star. No, Paul George is a third-rate star. You're not going to win a championship with Paul George unless he's at least your third best player on the team. Yeah, he gonna drop 35 for us once every 15 games, good. But we don't need him to do it. We got 2 other niggas that can handle that. Just you, Paul George, you do what you do. And if you only score 4 points tonight because you acting like a little hoe, we still gonna win because we got 2 players better than you on the squad. It's the only way you win with Paul George on your team. But they're going to elevate him because all of their marketers said this guy is someone who can sell product with you. But like I was saying before about, when I would be there with Hollins in the gym, man, the nigga worked his ass off. And everybody you see everybody. I would see Taj Gibson in the gym. I would see Baron Davis. I would see LeBron James. I've met LeBron before. I've seen him in the gym. I've been in UCLA men's gym with Amari Stoudemire, Kevin Garnett. You name it. Russell Westbrook when he was a rookie. Kevin Love. I've been in the UCLA men, James Harden, when niggas didn't think he beat as good as he is. I've been around. I've seen all these niggas grow behind the scenes. I'm not just some nigga that watched the sports from a distance. I've been in the gym with a lot of these niggas. And what I'm saying is this. They work their asses off. If you get a child and you put the amount of hours behind them being an engineer, look at our list of inventions as a people, folks. You could have the next George Washington Carver in your room right now. But you putting a basketball and forcing that motherfucker in his hand, and you didn't even present him with a Bunsen burner. Let the kids get all the options. And if you got one of those kids who's gonna grow a little tall, he has a special inclination for athletics, then yeah, ain't no harm in trying it, seeing what they can do with it. And I still encourage sports. I encourage you put your kid in sports as a way for them to grow a sense of community, to learn how to work with other people, to learn how to show drive for themselves. I encourage sports for that level. But sports as an end, look, let me tell you something about the Ball brothers, the Ball family. Yeah, LeVar Ball can plan on his kids going to the NBA. Why? Have you seen that family? All them niggas is tall. I've been around all of the Ball brothers, and let me tell you this. The shortest Ball brother make me look like Tyronn Lue is looking in his picture next to Doc Rivers and Paul George. That's how big them niggas is. Them niggas is 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", 6'3", 6'6". Them niggas is tall. So they can hedge on their boys possibly making the NBA. They can hedge on that. Your kid is 13, 5'2", and run like he got two left hips. Put that nigga in Science Academy right now and please stop fucking around. One punchline, I won't call you LeBron fan. You're right. I promise you that. You ain't like that nigga that was in the chat room earlier. You ain't like that. I won't do that to you, brother. But yeah, LeVar Ball, I used to coach against him. Look, that Ball blood, my niece is a Ball. My sister's married to the oldest Ball brother. My niece, Madison, is 11 years old, and she's already 5'11". I love my girl. I love her. But my little baby, 5'11", already. That's that Ball blood. But little Madison, we ain't putting the ball in her hand. Her mom, my sister's a teacher. That girl dedicating that time to a real career, not the WNBA. Hell yeah, I won coaching against LeVar. But I'm not going to say I won. Look, LeVar wasn't a bad coach. Let me tell you right now, my pops, he wasn't a bad coach. We partially won because he had little LiAngelo playing up. LiAngelo was like 8 playing against the 12-year-old team because Lonzo was 12. And we were playing against the 12-year-old team, and LiAngelo was like 8. But that nigga was still... LiAngelo LaMelo, I get them niggas confused. I'm dyslexic like a motherfucker. But the youngest one, that nigga was raining threes on our ass at 8 years old from like a foot behind the 3-point line. Like I was sending double teams to Lonzo, and I was leaving little LiAngelo open thinking, okay, he a little nigga. We can leave him open. Shit. That little motherfucker was bombing them hoes on us. Hey, I'm with you, Think Tank. Hey, Think Tank. Hey, yeah, I'm with you. That's the only issue I've ever had with LeVar. Was why is your teeth so yellow? God damn, you can't get them hoes whitened up. You got 3 kids in the NBA now, brother. And you driving a Bentley, man. Get them teeth painted. Put some white out, some glue, something. LeVar Ball needs to fix his teeth. God damn, he looks like one of those goats, one of those horses in Blazing Saddles. Fixed him. LeVar Ball's teeth look like Tyronn Lue's skin in this picture right here. Moving on. I didn't even plan on being on this long, but y'all know I get to run in my mouth. That moves on to us, the Errol. I want to do a catch up. We're going to catch up on his last weekend's fight. We had Errol Spence. Errol, the true Spence, ran through Danny Garcia. Shouts out to Errol Spence for winning that fight. Errol Spence, fresh off that car accident that could have killed him, came right into fighting a top 5 opponent at 147 for the win. Now Manny Pacquiao jumps in the ring and says he wants to be next. People are saying next should be Terrence Crawford. My thing is this. Of course you're going to take either, let's just tell the truth, whether you're Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. Whoever Manny Pacquiao chooses to fight, you taking that fight because it's much bigger money. And you still get to fight the other after you fight Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Errol look good, but ready. No, how you gonna say Errol not ready? Is Bud ready for Errol? Let's tell the truth. Errol is the number 1 fighter at 147, number 1 pound for pound fighter. Why is he number 1 fighter or number 1 at 147? It's because he's beaten all the other previous number 1s at 147. Sean Porter. He actually beat Kell Brook when Kell Brook was still Kell Brook had come off the Golovkin fight. I think Golovkin's who broke Kell Brook. And Errol Spence finished Kell Brook. Broke that eye socket. Errol Spence beat Danny Garcia, previous WBC champion. Who has Terrence Crawford beat at 147? Yes, Terrence Crawford unified the belts at 140. But since he's been at 147 the last 2 years, he's fought nobody on top of nobody. I'm not saying Terrence Crawford can't beat Errol Spence. I don't know. I think that's the best fight possible. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. I think that is the fight. But in the meantime, until that fight happens, I want to see Terrence Crawford fighting top 5 opponents in their prime now. Kell Brook was done 2 years ago when that fight was signed back in September. I said, why is he signing that fight? That's not a dangerous opponent. Who's a dangerous opponent for Terrence Crawford? Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. Those are the dangerous fighters for him at 147 that he could fight in the meantime until he gets to Errol Spence. And personally, I think Terrence Crawford beats all of those fighters. I think he beats Keith Thurman. I think he beats Sean Porter. I think he beats Danny Garcia. But I'm saying that to say those guys also have a chance, a slight chance, but a chance at beating him. Even Ugas. Ugas has a slight chance. I want to see Terrence Crawford fight somebody at 147 who's at least a threat to beat him. Patrick Tyson, there's nothing to discredit. No one gave Kell Brook a chance going into the fight. Kell Brook had 2 broken orbital bones over his eye sockets. And you gonna fight that? You saw what happened. The minute Kell Brook got hit where Errol Spence broke his eyes, that nigga quit. He didn't even get knocked out. He was like, you know what? Errol Spence had already fucked this eye up once. I ain't about to let you fuck it up again. I'm done. That's what we all knew going into the fucking fight. Carlito, I think Keith Thurman definitely has a chance of mopping Crawford. I think Keith Thurman has a chance, and that's why Crawford won't fight him. I still think Crawford wins the fight, but if Keith Thurman beat the shit out of him, that wouldn't surprise me. Or squeezed out a split decision, that wouldn't surprise me. That's all I'm saying when it comes to him. When it comes to Crawford, fight one of the dogs. At 147 is full of dogs. Sean Porter came out and called out Crawford. It's so bad with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford's own promoter, Bob Arum. Bob Arum said, I've lost enough money to build a house in Beverly Hills on Terrence Crawford. Yes. That's what Bob Arum said, his owner. You think I'm lying? Look at this headline. Bob Arum, I won't lose any more money on Terrence Crawford. Why? He said he doesn't promote the fights. He didn't sign that Carol Book fight until after their last big event, so he couldn't even promote the fight properly. I told y'all to look this up. He wants to fight Errol Spence, but he basically saying, look, when y'all look it up, Terrence Crawford, he won't fight. He won't fight Sean Porter. Sean Porter was offered the fight. I mean, he was offered a chance to fight Sean Porter from the PBC. Turned it down. He was offered a chance to fight, what's his name with the combo cut? Keith Thurman. Turned it down. He's so hell-bent on fighting either Porter or Pacquiao, he won't fight nobody else. And even that's a big-ass excuse. Because Bud talking about fighting Errol Spence. First of all, Errol Spence said 2 years ago, I'm going to clean out my side of the street. I'm going to clean out the PBC guys, and I'm going to cover Terrence Crawford. Then what happened in between that? This nigga Errol Spence literally got in a car accident where he almost died. I have no doubt Terrence Crawford would have been fighting Errol Spence this past Saturday had that car accident not happened. Because the fight with Danny Garcia was already signed and was scheduled for this past January. But of course, the car accident stopped that fight from happening. So Terrence Crawford doing all this woofing, knowing good and hell well, Spence already had a fight with Danny Garcia lined up. And that got derailed by almost a year because of a fucking car accident. Terrence Crawford had a chance to sign with PBC 2 years ago and he didn't. That nigga running. I know running when I see it. You had a chance to sign with the PBC 2 years ago and you didn't. You re-signed with Bob Arum knowing that Bob Arum didn't want to make that match back then. And then knowing that Errol Spence had just gotten a fucking car accident and he couldn't fight. Now all of a sudden you want to fight him. Knowing he already had that fight lined up already with Danny Garcia. So you use that as an excuse to fight Kell Brook instead of one of the top 5 fighters, namely Keith Thurman or Sean Porter. Fuck out of here. Of course, if you Errol Spence, you will fight Manny Pacquiao next in Dallas. That's the bigger money fight. Which brings us to this here, right here. No, Mayweather didn't run from Pacquiao, Tyson, Pat. Let me break down the whole Mayweather-Pacquiao thing because, again, I can break that all the way down. Patrick Tyson, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to break that down. Sam Watson. Y'all know, I don't know, y'all should know who Sam Watson is if you watch boxing. Sam Watson is Al Heyman's #1 right guy. He's been Al Heyman's right-hand man since the 70s. Sam Watson is somebody who grew up on the same block as my dad. And I went to high school, Westchester High School, salute, with Brandon and Sam's 2 sons that you always see behind all the fighters all the time. Why am I bringing Sam Watson up? When I first started doing stand-up comedy in 2010, Sam Watson used to come to the shows at the Comedy Union that I was hosting. He was there to see me and this other comic that was just getting started out. And this is around the first time that Floyd and Manny were ready to fight. I remember one night we were standing in front of the Comedy Union talking to Sam Watson. He said they had a 2-fight deal set up back in 2010 between Floyd and Manny. All Manny had to do was agree to VADA testing. Everybody knew Manny Pacquiao back then was on them steroids like a motherfucker. So the only way you go from 125 to 147 still knocking niggas out is with them roids. All Manny had to do was sign up for VADA testing and not take steroids. And he could have had a 2-fight deal. 2 fights, $100 million. And Manny said no. And then remember Manny said he's afraid of needles, but the motherfucker got tattoos. But again, Manny was under Bob Arum. Bob Arum has a greater control of the media than Al Heyman does. So Bob Arum gets to set the narrative because he's deeper in the pockets of the media than Al Heyman is. No different than what's going on right now with the whole Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence thing. ESPN's a worldwide leader. Bob Arum is signed with ESPN, so ESPN gets to set the narrative that Errol Spence is running and not Terrence Crawford because they're ESPN. They're going to side with the fighter that's signed with their network. Get it? Floyd Mayweather was an independent black man making independent money. He signed Showtime, got rid of HBO with Al Heyman, a very wealthy black man. You don't think it's ESPN's interest to shit on everything these black men are doing? So yeah, it was Manny running from Floyd. Yes, because Manny didn't want to sit down the juice. So when Manny agreed to fight Floyd, I got this factoid from Brandon Tony, from Craig Facts. Shouts out to B Tony. This is a fact that I got from Brandon. I didn't realize it when it happened. I just realized this just about a month ago when Brandon told me. This nigga Floyd hired the guy, whoever the nigga name was that Manny would get his juice from. When they fought in 2016, Floyd hired that guy into his camp so Manny couldn't get his juice from his ass. And Floyd proceeded to beat the dog shit out of Manny Pacquiao. Now let me say this. That's a really good question, Lovelace. And that leads me right into the subject. Why would Mayweather even want to go against Paul? It seems weird. Could it be he needs the money? Well, I don't know if he needs the money or just wants the money. But the fact is, it's a fuck ton of money to be made with this fight. Why? Logan Paul has a huge social media following. A following that generally would not buy a traditional match. I can guarantee you 90% of Logan Paul's social media following had no clue Errol Spence was fighting Danny Garcia on pay-per-view this past Saturday. So he has a huge following that will pay. What else does he have going for him? Logan Paul has a lot of momentum because he knocked out Nate Robinson. So all the white supremacists who had no clue who Logan Paul was before that knockout now love Logan Paul. And when I say white supremacists, I'm not just talking about white people. I'm talking about your Indian white supremacists, your Asian white supremacists, your Latino white supremacists. Not all those people are white supremacists, but there's a huge contingency of white supremacists within those different ethnic groups, which doesn't make sense at all because white people don't like them either. But in those ethnic groups, you have a huge contingency of people that don't care that white people don't like them. They just hate niggas, and they do whatever it takes to prove how much they hate niggas on top of that. So Logan Paul speaks to that contingency. Logan Paul is going to get those people to pay for the pay-per-view. Floyd Mayweather gets over $100 million for an easy night's work. And I'm not saying this because I'm the biggest Floyd Mayweather fan. Look, Floyd Mayweather done some cooning things over the last couple of years, man. I'm kind of Floyd Mayweather cool, but he's done some things that's Especially the way he be hating on Deontay Wilder and shit. The little sneaky shit he doesn't promote Tank Davis right. Floyd does a lot of shit that I don't like. But I'm not speaking from my personal feelings towards Floyd. That's different between me and a lot of people who talk sports, namely you bronsexual dudes. How I feel personally doesn't mean anything when it comes to talking sports. I've said things about athletes that I personally know on here that you guys never know I personally have had interactions, positive interactions with. But when I tell the truth, I tell the truth, how I see it relative to the sport that they play, not how I feel about them as an individual, okay? Make that clear. Mayweather's done a lot of suspect things that I don't like, especially post-retirement. But this is a chance for the man to make a lot of money. And I'm not mad at that. You're right, Carly, $100 million in 36 minutes. And with this being an exhibition, it might not even be 3-minute rounds. It might only be 2-minute rounds. So he'll make that money, and it might only be 10 rounds. You get 10 2-minute rounds, you make $100 million in 20 minutes against somebody who has absolutely no shot at catching you on the chin. Why not? Even if Floyd Mayweather has $1 billion in the bank, why not make another $100 million in 20 minutes? No one ever says Pepsi made enough money last year, do they? Does anybody say Apple made enough money when they raised our data fees? I mean, their phone fees and the price for storage? Does anybody say DirecTV made enough money when they raise our bill and get rid of that new customer discount? No. Nobody ever says Ford, GM made enough money. Why are you raising the price of your cars? Why are you coming out with a new model car when we already have a whole bunch of cars we already can't afford? No one ever says that. You think Floyd got a daughter that's about to go to jail for some dumb shit? He need money for her books. He need to buy her a house for when she get out in 10 years. If you can make the money, why not? What's up, Wig Splitter? Thank you for joining. Yeah, YouTube don't be sending out these notifications, so I need y'all to like, subscribe, and share. Share the video. I mean, like I said, I was a much bigger Floyd Mayweather fan 10 years ago than I am now. That's just being true. But it's not about my fan relationship with Floyd Mayweather. It's about, hey, the man got a chance to make some money with some gloves. Hey, why not? And it's not as if this is something new. Retired boxers fighting exhibitions for money is as old as the sport of boxing. Okay? Why am I saying that? Look at this. I made a little short video about this yesterday. You had Muhammad Ali fighting a Denver Bronco in 1976 in an exhibition fight. A fucking Denver Bronco in an exhibition fight. Mind you, Muhammad Ali was still a professional fighter at this time. Mind you, like I said, Muhammad Ali was still a professional fighter at this time. Look at this. Mile High Stadium. The greatest fighting a steroid-taking football player who died in 1990 from possibly taking too many steroids. This isn't new. A retired fighter fighting an exhibition fight. Look at this. This nigga Muhammad Ali once fought a Japanese kickboxer. And we love Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali. Look at this. Here's picture proof. Muhammad Ali in the ring with a kickboxer. Did that cheapen boxing? No. I'm going to tell you why it didn't cheapen boxing. Because most niggas running around talking about what Floyd Mayweather is doing is going to cheapen boxing didn't even know this shit ever even happened. Just like in 10 years, the next crop of fans that's young won't know shit about Floyd Mayweather versus this motherfucker. It ain't nothing new. Joe Louis. Look at this newspaper clipping from Joe Louis. Retired champions made over $210,000 from 41 exhibition fights. Joe Louis greatest of all time. Remember that from Coming to America? Joe Louis was fighting niggas in t-shirts with grandpa guts. Fighters fighting exhibitions ain't nothing new. So we can get off that. Floyd is doing Floyd. Am I going to buy this exhibition fight? Probably not. I didn't buy Floyd versus Conor McGregor. I literally bought every single Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view fight up until he fought Conor McGregor. I didn't buy that shit. And I'm probably not going to buy this. Well, I might buy it only because of Snoop. That nigga Snoop was hilarious on that last one. I got the shit downloaded, and I remember wishing I kind of bought it just because of Snoop. This shit ain't nothing new, people. Why am I saying all this? What's the overall lesson for today's conversation? The overall lesson is don't believe the hype. Watch sports for fun. And whoever is your favorite player, stand on that. That's your favorite player for your reasons. That's your favorite boxer for your reasons. Whoever your favorite is doesn't need to be defended nor explained to anybody. That's your choice based on the things that you like out of what you watch when you're watching sports. All this arguing, oh, you're a hater, or LeBron James is this because Kobe's not that. Yeah, stop that weak shit, man. Like, for real. Black people, we got bigger problems to solve than who our goddamn favorite athlete is. And at least, if you're going to have a favorite, if you're going to have somebody you like, take the time to actually watch them play. And take whatever inspiration you get from that. Don't be running around talking about, well, the stats. Nigga, you never took statistics. So you don't even know the difference. You don't even know what those goddamn stats mean. You don't even understand basketball. You don't understand the correlation between stats and system and how the reason Steve Nash has better numbers than a Tony Parker, but Tony Parker has more championships, literally comes down to system. You don't understand why Tony Parker could be a better point guard than Steve Nash, because Steve Nash has the numbers. Yeah, if Tony Parker had a different system, his numbers would be different too. But not about the numbers. It's about the whole understanding of the game. No different than life. In life, you got to understand the game of what you in. When you into something, when you do something, and you get caught up in the players, You get caught up in fandom. You get caught up in worshiping motherfuckers. You missed the whole game. You just got fooled. You just got had. You just got took. Nigga. That's the point of this broadcast. The point of this broadcast is to say, look, man, use your time wisely. Like sports, love sports. But instead of defending LeBron James and defending your favorite team, defend your culture and your people like that. Get to know your people. Get to know who you are. Get to know who your family is. Get to know your family and how you ties in to cultural perspective. And defend the things that matter. Care about the things that matter to us. Sports is just some fun, entertaining shit. Then it's on to the next. You win a championship, and then it's on to the next season. That's how they treat it. That's how we should treat it. You right, my pops Nash head like a motherfucker on D. You right, the Al show. There's poison, water, and Flint. Rivers are polluted. They still ain't talking no reparations. And we arguing about who the greatest is. Sports is a purposeful distraction. It's a distraction on purpose. Which leads me to Hotep-ish history. Before we get out of here today, I am going to do a Hotep-ish history report on George Majunkin. George Majunkin. He was someone who was a self-taught archaeologist. This shows you black greatness and why we greater than some fucking sport. He was a former slave from Texas who became a bronco-busting cowboy. Bilingual. Spoke Spanish and English. Bilingual, but he also spoke a lot of Native American languages too. This man was an amateur archaeologist, and then one day in 1908, after a thunderstorm, he discovered a grave site, a former grave site of a bunch of bones in New Mexico. Folsom, New Mexico. These bones date back more than 9,000 BCE. Why am I bringing up George Majunkin and the Folsom dig site in North America? Why? Because this was proof that black people were on this continent long before the slave trade, long before the Bering Strait migration by the Asiatic. And here's a context clue for the people out there listening. Anytime you see the word Folsom, notice two things. Usually it's a prison in Folsom. Whether you're talking about Folsom, Atlanta, or Folsom, California, they put a prison there. That's symbolic. Because Folsom is the name of a group of dark-skinned, Negroid, bone-structured people who populated North America 9,000 years ago. And when you read the book by The First Americans Were Africans by Dr. James Imhotep, it shows the Folsom digs going back over 50,000 years here on this land. And the Folsom people were all over this land. So anytime you see a city named Folsom, that's somewhere that they dug up Negro bones. Remember that. NBC News won't tell you this. The History Channel won't tell you this. Henry Louis Skip the Truth Gates Fox historian ass won't tell you this. Always know who you are and where you come from. That's more important than how many fucking championships or rankings somebody else has. Thank you, Davey Lee. Hit me on the hit me up on the Cash App. $ Dewan Brown. If you value the information. If you don't want to hit me up, don't hit me up. I ain't tripping. I don't do this for the money. I do it because black people need to spread information. And sometimes sports is the means we need to use to spread information. Later on this week, I have my man Siddiqui Bakari coming on. We're going to talk about going into 2020. 2021, we're going to talk about a lot of the need for connecting to your ancestors and why that's important. Next week, I have Dr. Patterson coming on also Thursday. He's an herbalist. I said herbologist. He's an herbalist. He's going to get your boys eating in order, man. And I'm going to have him come on. And he's going to talk health. He's going to talk about benefits of health. And we're going to have that conversation. And next week, I got some dope-ass shows coming for you, too. So, here, we talk the profound and the profane. Today, we talk a little bit of sports. Later on this week, we get back to talking about something that's going to really move us forward. I really thank you and appreciate everybody in the chat room. Zen Master, I appreciate you. Raw Status, I appreciate you. Raw Status took that roasting with stride and kept coming back up in here. Again, it ain't personal. We crack jokes. Cracking jokes is fun. It ain't personal. It's just having some good ass time. I appreciate everybody for coming in here and joining us. Join us later today on Craig Facts. And remember this. For David Lee, the Cash App popping, just put the Cash App in the chat room. Make sure you put that up in there. But yeah, I appreciate all the Cash Apps. Oh yeah, I got it, David Lee. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody who's been donating to the Cash App over this time. I appreciate all y'all. Remember this, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up game. My name is Dewan B. We out.